Welcome back to Your Best Day Yet. I am Caleb Kolb, and in today's episode, it is a very special one. A while back, I sat down with my friend Cris from Train to Summit to talk about his journey chasing world records, pushing human limits, and redefining what's possible in the mountains. And that was a powerful story. But today we're going to go even deeper. This time, Chris's wife, Viv, is joining us. And also, my wife, Sarah, is also here with me. So we've got real roundtable conversation, couple to couple here. We'll talk about what it looks like to pursue extreme adventures together, how that impacts a marriage, the lessons you bring back home, and what it means to find your own summit in life. We'll also hear some exciting updates since my last conversation with Cris, including some new sponsorships, plus a crazy story about the Italian Alps that turned into a rescue mission, and I'm excited to hear more about that. So whether you're a climber, a couple chasing big dreams, or just somebody looking for inspiration, this episode has something for you. And with that, let's jump right in, and I'll kick it over to you guys first because I really enjoyed, Cris, getting to know you on the last episode. And, for those of you who are just tuning in, how we got together, I was sitting at an airport, headed back from Zion. And a few days earlier, Chris's channel just randomly popped up on my algorithm. And then I just started watching them. We're sitting at the airport and I was with Eric, and I said, I think he would be great to have on the podcast. I'm going to just shoot my shot here. So for those of you listening, if you ever want to make a friend, just message them and see what happens. And so then I had you on and we talked a lot about you and Viv. And so I'm excited. I just want to, if you would just introduce Viv and we can go from there.
Amazing. So this is Viv, my lovely wife. We climb mountains together pretty much all over the world. I initially started chasing my own dream, which was to climb the 7 summits. Now the 7 summits starting from the sea and ending at the sea. And little did I know that the best partner was right next to me, the best mountaineering partner and partner in life. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Viv. Lovely, really excited to be here. I'm Australian British. And also a mountaineer now. But yeah, when we first met, I definitely was not a mountaineer.
Viv, I'd love to hear more about, I heard Cris say, I started pursuing my own goals of the 7 summits and then didn't realize my best partner, mountaineer partner, was right next to me. Talk a little bit more about how your goals either aligned or shifted to support your husband's goals.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely shifted. My back in the day, I would have never ever imagined that my life would turn out like it has today. I wasn't doing any mountaineering before I met Cris. Not even, I think, probably 5 years into it, did I even climb my first mountain.
We were just hiking together.
Yeah, I love hiking. I always loved hiking. I've always loved nature, and even the mountains I loved back in the day. But yeah, the idea of going out past the snow line always terrified me. When Cris started talking about doing the 7 summits more seriously, and then eventually doing his first climb, which was Mont Blanc, the idea absolutely terrified me. I was so nervous. I don't know, back then it just felt like mountaineering to me just felt like a bit of a reckless sport, that you have to be someone who doesn't mind putting their life at risk so much. It really scared me back in the day. And then
now you're that reckless person.
Now I'm that person.
I was just saying we could talk about that for an hour because it is. I understand that, but it's also probably one of the most therapeutic things I've ever done in my entire life.
Completely. I think that's how I ended up loving it. You went to do Mont Blanc the first time. I was at home just freaking out, smoking cigarettes. Unfortunately, was my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And then he went again, and again, I was just like, God, I'm a mess. Why am I just sitting here in this situation? So eventually, I was like, I'm coming with you next time.
And what was your first mountain?
Gran Paradiso, which is a Italian
4,000 meter mountain. It's said to be the easiest one. It's complete bullshit. It's not the easiest one.
It's definitely. I mean, yeah, it's a long day, but also there's a lot of crevasses. And for
Yeah.
someone like, I mean, I'm a nervous person. I definitely have like an anxious brain, and like the idea of jumping so many crevasses like we did that day, and then also
Oh God.
you have to do some like a tiny bit of climbing at the top where the drops are just insane.
Very exposed summit.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think just that day and doing that, like confronting my fears quite literally of like everything I could have imagined as being like terrifying, was so therapeutic and so incredible to me. Like it just got me addicted straight from that very point.
Yep. Yep.
I love to hear confronting my fears is what I'm hearing inspired you to continue doing this. That is such a, I don't know, a statement you don't hear often is, when I set out to confront my fears, rather than sitting at home being afraid of Chris doing these things and then joining him, being inspired to join him and see what this is all about, and then experiencing that growth through challenge yourself, um, just helped you to take on even more.
Yeah, I mean, like there was a point where I was just so nervous, and I was like, if I'm going to be this nervous, then I might as well just be with him. Like
Yeah.
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 this is ridiculous. Like, and I do like I always loved hiking, so it was kind of like. I mean, and I loved the mountains as well. I used to go skiing as a kid, so like big mountains always really appealed to me. It was just that fear that was just stopping me. So yeah, it's just amazing. I think in general life, like how much of an impact knowing how like how much you can grow from facing your fears. Now I'm so much more open to challenges.
Yes. And I think we talk about that a lot. Like my favorite people to interview are like just like you guys. I love interviewing people that maybe don't take the normal path in life. Like, okay, society tells me I need to grow up, I need to do good in school, I need to get a job or go to college, get a job, and then work for the next 60 years of my life and then retire. I love interviewing people that are like, I'm going to take this more non-traditional path that I'm passionate about. And we've seen that. So we are in the similar industry as guides. And we've seen so many people that have been terrified to do one of the trips that we're running. And then
Mhm.
they face their fears. They get to the summit, or if it's a Grand Canyon trip, if it's Cactus Club, whatever it is, they get through that. And then they're like, all right, what's next? Like, I'm ready to continue pursuing this growth. And that's so fun for us to experience. And so I love talking to other people that that feel that same way. So
Yeah. I would say some of my heroes or people that I look up to are people that, they're the people that we bring on the adventures that were terrified to step out and hike, 9 miles for that was their furthest
mhm.
hike. For some
Yeah.
people that's not a hard hike, but for others there's that fear involved, and to just watch them grow through that is such an honor to be a part of it. And I know that you guys have many stories that you'll share with us here soon where you're walking alongside people helping them do that, unknowingly, or a rescue mission like you had recently.
Well, Chris, last time we talked, you were already doing some amazing things. You had already climbed Kilimanjaro, and we talked about Kilimanjaro a lot because my wife and I both climbed Kili 4 times. We didn't walk from the ocean to get there. I know it was like a 30-day journey for you
Yeah.
across Tanzania up to the summit, and you guys got to experience that together. So that's really awesome. You had also done Aconcagua from sea level. So kind of give us some updates on what's new in your journey since our last conversation.
Well, the last time that we spoke, I was aiming for another one of the 7 summits called Karsten's Pyramid, the highest one in Oceania. And I worked towards it for about a year. And it fell through in the last couple of months because essentially the area has a lot of terrorist activity. And I had the company helping me to like navigate this whole thing. And I didn't manage to basically doing the mountain wasn't the problem. Even
Right.
now, you can take a helicopter and fly into base camp and climb it over 2 days safely, jump back in the chopper, and it's all done. The problem is actually walking there. And it was a big risk safety wise, but it was also a big risk that I wasn't going to be able to finish the walk to actually like get the base camp. And I would have, it was just a little bit of a mess. So I decided, instead of spending that money and taking that risk at that time, not to do that. We actually had like a big conversation in between us. We were like, what is next?
Yeah.
And Viv essentially said, she was like, I think the best next idea would be to go for Everest, because people don't really know these mountains. Like, I know Denali, but
Right.
outside of the mountaineering community, if you say to a brand, oh, I'm going to go and climb Denali they don't care. It's like, what is that? So she was like, if you go for Everest, you're going to have a bigger chance at getting support behind you. And then we kind of like ripped off the Band-Aid and we're like, yeah, Everest.
Everest is. Yeah.
Everest it is. And this decision was pretty much at the very start of this year. Like 1st, 2nd of January, we were like, this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, to give more context on Carsten's there, I mean, the money was quite significant for it. It would have been our own savings at that point,
Right.
because this was before he got the sponsor.
Yeah.
So it was risking pretty much all of our own money on something that it sounded like couldn't actually potentially be done, let alone actually you being able to do it. So yeah, that's why Everest came into the picture.
Yeah.
And the idea of actually being able to get a brand sponsor, because it's more sexy for a brand potentially.
And this is essentially where we are right now. Everest is happening starting from the sea. So it's 2,000 kilometers up and back in distance, which I don't know what it is in miles, but it's still a lot.
Yeah.
It's a long
we
walk.
took a helicopter from Kathmandu to Lukla, and I'm just thinking as I'm flying over that, like, oh, Cris is going to be walking through all this.
It's a long way.
All of this. And then the mountain itself. And this is essentially where like all of the preparation is going into at the moment. Both trying to get sponsors for it and trying to prepare physically and mentally.
How do you guys each prepare physically, mentally, emotionally together and separately for this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not climbing Everest, sadly. Like, I would have loved to have joined him, but yeah, money. I'm actually really trying to prepare myself for that, because it's going to be a very long period. It's gonna take him like 3 months.
A bit more than 3 months, but one of the things I'm very thankful for is that even with the other 2 mountains, she supported me massively. As in, she literally came to the base camp, and also like my parents-in-law. For Aconcagua, for example, and like helped with supplies, with like logistics, so much. And for Everest, we have an opportunity after the walk. I can meet her, and we're actually gonna hike together 4 days before Lukla, where you fly in. We're planning to hike that section and then do all of base camp together. And then we're actually discussing doing Lobuche East.
I mean, hopefully. This is depending on how much time I can get off work. So
Yes.
I still have a full-time job. But hopefully, like, we can arrange to see each other. I hopefully climb one of the smaller mountains next to Everest together, which he's going to be doing for acclimatization. But yeah, preparing for it is hard, I would say, mentally, for sure.
You said you're working full time. What's your day-to-day look like, working full time and traveling the globe climbing mountains?
Yeah, my life is pretty crazy these days. It's funny, actually, because back in 5 years ago, I would have been exactly that person that you were describing, who imagines working I was working 9 to 5, but like would have stayed in London, bought a house, climbed the career ladder for the rest of my life. So I work in marketing for a running insole company, which fortunately has given me the permission to work remotely. So we travel basically every 2 weeks to our next location. And we try and do that every Sunday. And then, yeah, Monday to Friday, I'm working from whichever country we're in, whether that's Bolivia, whether that's Kosovo.
Yeah.
Like, being around the world, we're still working. But yeah, I'll be working from Nepal while Chris is doing the mountain, trying,
Yes.
trying to distract myself, throwing myself into work, I'm sure.
You, you have to spend a lot on those internet cards. You know, they give you the card, you scratch off the
Yeah.
info, type it into your Wi-Fi. But the
Yeah.
Himalayas was that was, of all the travels we've done, that was one of the most beautiful places that I think I've ever been. And just
Cannot wait.
walking, you know, like Namche Bazaar. I mean, I could live in Namche. We like waking up like, oh yeah, there's Amadablam and Lhotse and Everest and Noopsie, you know, all these mountains. And
Amazing.
we actually, neither of us have tattoos at this point, and we were at a coffee shop and we're looking over and it said world's highest tattoo studio or whatever, and we're like, should we get a tattoo? Like, yeah, let's get a tattoo. So like, we just have so many memories there, and that was such a
I feel like you need to explain the tattoo now at this point.
well, you go ahead, you can explain it.
The tattoo is, so I went to Everest Base Camp, and just like Caleb, I thought this was the most, for me, transformative, peaceful, restful trip,
Hmm.
despite, hiking in high elevation. It was just that rest that I experienced during that. And I always said if I was going to get a tattoo, it was something that, was memorable or impactful. And so, like Caleb said, the highest tattoo shop in the world. So I got the skyline from Everest Base Camp tattooed on my ring finger on the inside. And
Amazing.
yeah, and so Viv, if you get the chance to go to base camp or, do any sort of hiking through the Himalayas, highly recommend it. Caleb's goal is also to do Everest at some point. I can't say that's on my
Oh,
goal
nice.
list, but I want to support him through that. And I know it'll be
Yeah.
impactful. So excited to learn from you as you both prepare for that journey. And then Caleb did Island Peak
Yeah, I just did
while we
Island
went.
Peak
Oh,
right next
awesome.
door, but
And so his tattoo
Yeah.
is all the high peaks.
yeah, when you go to these places and you experience this different culture, that is one of the things that I thought was so cool. And we spent a lot of time talking about the Tanzanian culture last time. And I know, you were walking on the side of the road, Chris, and stopped under a tree for some shade and met a local family there. They invited you in and you got to stop on the way back too. If you could just briefly just talk about the cultures of the places you go and the people, because I think a lot of people have this fear of traveling because it's something new. They're not used to different cultures. And so, what has been your experience traveling to these different places?
If I were to summarize it, I would say the smaller the place, the kinder the people. Like, this
Yeah.
is literally what we saw in every single place that we've been, including places like Bosnia and Kosovo, which have been through like wars. They're just so happy to have.
Yeah. I mean, we've only ever had amazing experiences with people just like welcoming us with open arms wherever we've been.
Yeah,
And Kosovo makes me think of the coffee shop owner who you made best
Zim.
friends with.
Yeah.
Chris was very addicted to getting morning coffee from a local in Kosovo.
It's so strong, the coffee in Kosovo. It's amazing. I totally recommend it.
Java, 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 Java.
We made good friends with the restaurant owner, and yeah, I mean, you knew all the names of his kids
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
end of it.
yeah. It was absolutely amazing. Like, I think if you research the place a little bit, because obviously you see if a place is a little bit more sketchy or if it isn't. But even like sometimes I think back to Aconcagua, like walking through Chile and Argentina and crossing the border of Chile and Argentina on foot. And there were like a few more like say like intense moments, mainly in cities. It always happens where there's like a big population,
Mm-hmm.
I find. But outside of that, I never had an issue, and I had so much hope as well. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the videos on Aconcagua, but
Yeah.
when I walked towards Aconcagua in Chile, there was an avocado farm, and I had an issue. I basically took a wrong trail, and I got stuck. And I realized that I would have to backtrack 2 days because I hit a river, and the river was Aconcagua River, ironically enough. and it was too big to wait. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to jump in this random farm, which is a bad idea, and like even in your own country, but especially in a foreign country. And I bolted through, and sure enough, 5 minutes in, 2 security guards stopped me there and then. And I was like, ah, shit, like I'm gonna go to prison in Chile. You know, this is really bad. And with all of my broken Spanish, I tried to explain to this guy exactly what happened. And his name was Cris as well. Shout out to Cris, the security guard in Chile.
Shout out to
And
Chris.
he literally said, come with me, and started like escorting me out. And I thought, I didn't really know what to think. Like I was like, yes, he's trying to help me, but I didn't really. Anyway, he took me to a bridge that they had, like a makeshift type bridge that crossed that river that I needed and cleared me right out, like helped me so much. And he's just one of the many, many examples of like great people in small places that I met.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
I
one of the
love that.
best things about traveling so much is that you see the kindness of the world a lot more than you do on the TV or whatever. Like I've been like, oh,
So true.
we see so much kindness in people. I'm trying to think of all the different examples of like when there was randomly in Mendoza when we were in Argentina once, the man behind us just paid for our groceries.
Yeah.
And he was just like, we're just so happy to have you in our
Country, our town.
yeah, in our town. This just doesn't happen. But like
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
gives
mean,
me
I'm
like
so
goosebumps.
happy that you're sharing that. We were recently talking with friends and, about doing mission trips and traveling overseas and to different countries. There's such a fear about doing that amongst so many people because we
Yeah.
only hear those negative stories. And in our experiences, we've seen so much good in people,
Yeah.
just putting ourselves in vulnerable situations where
Mhm.
we have to rely on the kindness of strangers to get through a situation. And what we've
Yeah.
learned through that, I would say, is, Chris, you said your broken Spanish and whatnot, but just that love is such a universal language. When you smile at somebody
Yeah.
or you're doing a good thing, you can feel that and okay, I trust this person to
Mhm.
help me through this situation. And being in that vulnerable situation, trusting strangers to show their kindness is really a perspective that when we can bring that to where we live at home and kind of spread that, is such a powerful thing. And so I'm so happy that you
Completely.
guys are sharing that also.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the things I love about expeditions because we recently got back from a big expedition to up Lenin Peak
Yeah.
in Kyrgyzstan, and the community on when you're doing an expedition, the other climbers you meet, the Sherpas, all the guys, like
It's amazing.
it's so nice how everyone comes together and tries to help each other. I mean, there was definitely a point on the mountain we were doing. There was a really sketchy day on the mountain when you're doing a very big climb and you're passing a lot of crevasses. And
Mhm.
these crevasses were some of the biggest crevasses we've ever seen in our lives.
And jumped. Yeah.
And having to jump. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we weren't with a guide, but there was a Nepalese, a Sherpa who was with another group. And he saw us with our big bags. And so he saw me looking at the crevasse nervously. And he came from his other group to try and help me get across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was just, I thought it was so kind because it was just it did not need to happen. He was with another group and he just went out of his way to try and help me.
Yeah, we had a lot of instances like that on that mountain. Like we also had one of the Sherpas give us his gas canister when we ran out of fuel
At the
Mm.
top.
at the top at Camp
Yeah.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a great
It's
place to
expedition
run out of fuel,
beautiful.
huh? Oh,
No,
man.
no.
Well, I listen to that story, I can't help but think like experiences like this, they not only test you individually, but they test you as a couple in your relationship. Can you share just like, these expeditions and maybe how they test your relationship and how you get through that, how you handle the disagreements or fears when you're facing this danger together?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is that the higher the stress, the the easier it is to snap,
Yeah, that's true. Especially when you're tired or hungry as well. Like, you have to have so much patience with your partner.
Yeah. But it's like stress is a very big thing, and it's a very real thing. And the more the things go sideways, the more it affects you. And you kind of have to, like, I feel like we're like very aware of it. We're very aware,
We're aware because we've had our situations. I think one of the only things that we really used to fight about on the mountain actually ever was lightning. I used to be very scared of lightning. I've actually got a lot better with all the exposure that we've had recently.
Right.
There was one mountain at the very beginning of our mountaineering together in Spain where we got caught up the top, pretty much at the just under the top, in a lightning storm, and I panicked because obviously all of my
instincts.
instincts were just like, this is awful. And Cris was more logical about it at the time because we were getting pelted by hail, and agreeing on what to do when you're in that situation when it's life or death pretty much at that point. It's like agreeing on what to do when someone has like a fear and is like a lot more irrational,
You have
probably.
a phobia, and then the worst that we ever had, the worst situation, I think, I mean, you have to quantify it, but it was probably this mountain in Georgia, this volcano called Sherkotan, 3,600 meters, pretty straightforward to climb. We were so far away from civilization. We had hiked like 2 days together, and we didn't get the right weather report. And it was beautiful. It was amazing.
You would have thought it was a perfect day.
And we started climbing, and about 100 meters of elevation away from the summit, it got dark. The cloud came in. It was like, okay, this is a doomsday situation. And we rushed down from the volcano, and it started straight away to like storm, hail, thunder, lightning, everything. It was hardcore. And we got soaked straight away. And it was 3,000 meters where we were, and it was really cold. So we started we were like hiking away. We were losing feeling very fast in the hands. It was a pretty bad situation. And that was the type of situation where you're like, okay, what's more dangerous? Like, do we risk hypothermia here? Or
staying on the ground,
staying on the ground because we were on the bags, or do we risk getting hit by lightning? And this was one of those tense situations where she was like, lightning, and I was like, you're gonna die freezing, and what ended up happening, this was a total shit show this day. It was one of those that just basically the storm, we had a little bit of a window. We set up the tent, we went in the tent, we put all of our dry clothes, our last spare pair on, and we were like, okay, we don't have a second chance. The next one, we have to evacuate. And when we left, I thought that there was an easier route to pass over the mountain because we came over one col. There was a col is like a dip in between two mountains.
Yeah.
We came over one that was incredibly steep. And we were I was like, let's take the other one. And we took the other one by my choice. And without knowing, we ended up in Russia. And the problem with that is that these guys had a war in that area. And certain sections have mines exactly where the border is. So the whole thing was just crazy. We backtracked. It took us an eternity long time to get back.
We've had our tough days. I think that actually, to be fair, after every occasion like that, we've come down when we're back safe and started evaluating how can we deal with the situation better.
Yeah.
And I think those two instances are both very early on.
We learned a lot.
We've learned a lot. And now, we were caught in lightning in Peru in December, and we could talk through on Misty. Yeah. I'm just thinking now, we've grown so much as a couple through that it was now we could talk through very rationally, this is what we should do. We've made this plan. We're going to action our plan. We're going to do exactly that. Um, so yeah, I think it's helped us grow as a couple. I think it's actually helped us like figure out how to
Deal with these things.
and make sure that we talk about our problems.
It kind of makes things at home seem easy, right? You've gone through that, avoiding mines and lightning and hypothermia, and then you get home and it's, whatever the issue is, sometimes
Chris,
it's
did you not take out the
right.
trash?
Did you put the
You're
garbage
like-
on time? It's seems so small, but I love how you guys just take those lessons learned and apply it to everyday life.
It's I just wanted to say that it's like even with these situations, it's still the stuff at home can still be equally intense. Like in general, day-to-day life problems are or can be like as difficult to handle. I think this is just like a physical threat that we kind of like learn to deal with, because it's like it's literal life and death. But you also have like the other side of like, the stresses of paying the mortgage or like kids and stuff like that.
I love the overall theme that surviving and overcoming that challenge on the mountain teaches you at home. Those are hard things that we're going through at home. The theme
Yeah.
is we know that we can do hard things now. And
Yeah.
it's
100%.
it's such a powerful belief when we know that we can do hard things. We've always got a little bit more in us than we think we do. And, when we just keep moving and navigating through that challenge, we just keep stacking that up and building that foundation.
I feel like that's been one of my favorite learnings from climbing mountains is just like knowing no matter how hard this is right now, like you could probably get through it because you've got through this and this and this, and you're gonna get through this as well, you know.
One
And
of my
that lesson you can really take into everything else.
One of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is just the community that you guys have built. And I don't even know, I mean, I'm sure that you're aware of it, with your channel and how it's grown, and just like the community of people that are around you guys and support you guys. And I just wanted to, if you guys could just touch on that, like how important is that and what does that mean to you, like with all this support that you're getting?
It's kind of surreal, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say it as one of the major factors behind why I'm still doing it, or like it's so beautiful to see someone comment saying this really inspired me, thank you, or like I really needed to see this today. Like that really drives me.
Yeah.
A lot more than I ever thought it would. Like, honestly, I never thought my life would end up being on YouTube in any kind of way. Definitely thought I was going to be in an office job for the rest of my life.
And
Yeah.
that's I think part of it is just being vulnerable too. And there's nothing to make you vulnerable like mountaineering, right? Like being in
For
the
sure.
like I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we've been talking about is, you really learn somebody's raw emotions, character, everything about a person you
Yeah.
can learn on a trip like this. And like Sarah said, that's why we like doing this, is we like getting people through that because there's so much
Mhm.
growth on the other side. People that see you guys being real and raw and vulnerable and sharing your experiences, and then next thing you know, they're commenting like, you have no idea how much this means to me and I'm going through it right now. And so I just think that's so cool, the community of people that are building behind you guys. And it's just like, that's why I love talking to you guys, is just like the mission, vision, values. We have different things that we're doing, but the mission, vision, values are like very much aligned. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself with.
As humans, just as we talked about putting ourselves in vulnerable situations in different cultures, in different countries, love being that universal language. But as humans, we're meant to be in relationship and in community, whether that's with God, with each other, with a complete stranger. And so
Mhm.
just filling life with more of that helps us go even further. And so just thank you guys
Completely agree.
for creating the community that you're creating that's inspiring others to do the same too.
Golly, there's so much. I do have a question. How did you propose, Chris? What was that story?
Oh, I love that story. I actually thought about it quite a bit, because even then, my instinct was gonna climb a mountain, gonna propose at the summit. Then I was like, I kind of wanted to find what our common ground was even then.
Mhm.
And it was adventure. Like we always love to go for it. Like we were like city traveling before and starting to go to more like remote places. So I proposed in the ancient city of that sounds like hilarious. I proposed in the adventure city in the anyway, old capital of Siam called Ayutthaya in the north of Thailand. Very different than anything in Europe that you're gonna go to, where there are like fences and you can't touch this and you can't touch that. It's a beautiful like temple, an ancient city that you can go and walk around in. And we had planned to go to Thailand to then go to Australia to see Viv's parents who were living in Perth. So it was a perfect opportunity to then go and celebrate together. And I essentially planned to propose as the sun was setting on the biggest temple over there. I was like, I had this vision, it's going to be romantic. I knew the sun is setting, for example, at like 6 p.m. We're doing it. And then we went to a restaurant and we had like a lovely dinner. And at the end of dinner, I was like, okay, let's go. And I left it at the last 10 minutes. And Viv goes, no, I want a papaya. And just bolts.
Papaya is my favorite fruit. So
Completely leaves me. And I'm just like, okay, this is not good. The sun's like setting. I can see the sun setting over there. I start running after her and I'm just trying to be really nice. I'm like, please, let's go. I really want to see it. And eventually, I think this is a sort of emotional manipulation. This is the one thing that I want to see over here. So it was hilarious because you can't enter these places in shorts and it's really hot. So we were both wearing yoga pants. I'll send you the picture, by the way. If you want to...
Let's go.
like
We will put it in the
Thailand-
show notes.
Thailand pants.
Thailand baggy made in China
And
pants.
I had the ring in the pocket. I didn't even have a box for the ring because it would show, because it was like, very close to the skin. And I remember I was like, we were going up these stairs. The last thing I remember about the story, we're going up the stairs and like this whole time, I was so sure that she was going to say yes. And as we're coming up the stairs, this question comes into my head. It's like, what if she's going to say no? I was like, I don't need this right now. Anyway, thankfully she said yes.
Yeah.
And I did propose as the sun was going down. And that is the story.
Thank you guys for sharing everything. And if listeners can take away one lesson just about, the marriage, resilience, pursuing your purpose together, what do you want to share with them?
I don't know necessarily in terms of lessons. I don't even know how to phrase this, but I would say we, outside of mountaineering, outside of adventuring, outside of everything, we are just very happy with each other. Like I wake up and I see her in the morning and I'm happy. I don't know as a advice for people that are already together, but like maybe before you are together, just make sure that that person makes you happy. Because that for me is like everything. I could stop mountaineering and just be happy with Viv. It's just like goals and stuff that we're like pursuing, but that's it.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have nothing to add to that. That is
That's beautiful.
yeah. Well, so how can people follow along? Because you were talking about the YouTube channel, Train to Summit, and I want to, like, how can people get involved?
Honestly, watch the videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, we're not big on Instagram or anything like that. It's just like we make the videos so that anyone can enjoy them. You don't have to be a mountaineer. That was always the point. It's about the story. It's about our journey. Yeah. So YouTube, Train to Summit, subscribe. I want to talk a little bit just to shout out the two sponsors that are helping me a lot in the Everest project and beyond. PhD, which is one of the best down gear
manufacturers in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible company to be working with, and they've been supporting Cris so much, and They even provided me gear for Lennon, which
Lennon.
I'm eternally grateful for. So
Yeah, we had a very cold period on Lennon Peak. It's over 7,000 meters. And it was just good for the first time to have really good equipment.
yeah, it's nice to be warm in a mountain.
And the other brand that's also supporting the project is called Huel. People from the UK would know them. It's a brand that does nutritionally complete bars, shakes, instant meals. Funny enough, with them, I use them in Africa as I was hiking because I wasn't sure of what I'm gonna find, and it was a very good idea just to come with like all of the instant meals and all of the food. And I got all of my nutrition in, and we use them on Lennon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those two companies, big thank you to PhD and big thank you to Huel for sponsoring me.
Yeah, shout out to Huel too, because if you did not win that Limit Seekers Fund after all the support, you like, when you posted that,
That's so
I'm like, all right,
sweet.
guys, we gotta share this, we gotta tag them, and I was just going through. I'm like, okay, they didn't need us. Like, there's hundreds of people that are like, yo, check these guys out, check out Cris and Viv, like, support this dude, like, they're doing some cool stuff. Like I said, I mean, before we started, the first time we spoke, I don't know if you didn't have any sponsors, and I was saying then, like, hold on to your britches because this dude's gonna blow up, man. I'm telling you, like that was your first podcast, and I'm sure that there's gonna be many more. And I just really thank you guys for coming on. Sarah, did you have anything else you wanted to cover?
I'm just grateful for the conversation, and like I said before, to really be on this journey with you. I hope we can hike together sometime soon.
Yeah, it'd be so
Likewise.
nice, hopefully. And
Oh,
we're
that would
definitely
be
planning to get out there.
We're actually planning to come to the US next year. After the whole Everest expedition, we should keep in touch about that because we want to get a few videos in. Viv really wants to go to Colorado, and I was kind of looking at the whole picture and being like, okay, what can we do to kind of connect and go to two states? Because I've never been to the US and I really, really, really want to go there.
Oh yeah.
So if you have any advice, or if you
Oh,
want to do
well-
something together, we can do that. Like,
Oh.
super happy.
We will. Don't you worry. We'll talk some more offline about this.
Sounds
You tell
great.
me what you guys are interested in, and we'll put together a fun itinerary for you guys. Introduce you to
good.
the
and
Amazing.
we'll join you too.
yeah, and we'll come if that's all right.
Yeah,
We'll be a part of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Awesome.
super exciting.
Awesome. Well, Cris and Viv, thank you both for sharing your story with us today. Sarah, thanks for joining me for this one. I love that we got to do this together.
So great to get to know you more, Viv, and just excited to follow along on the journey too, and hopefully be a part of it very soon.
Yeah. Yeah. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe here, but also go to Cris and Viv's channel, Train to Summit on YouTube. We'll have the link in the show notes. Subscribe to what they're doing. Follow along on their journey because it's just going to continue to be more and more awesome. Leave us a review and share this with somebody maybe that needs a little bit of encouragement or to take that next step into the fear of the unknown. I love that you said that, Viv. But until next time, everyone, remember your best day yet is not behind you. It is still in front of you, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for
Thank
having
you.
us. Lovely
Thank
to see
you
you
so
both.
much.